number one, history does not repeat exactly, as we know. Number two, people tend to learn. So one of the reasons that we had the Great Depression in the 30s was that the government practiced austerity and I believe raised taxes and did not increase the money supply. We learned from that, and we are very fortunate that we had Ben Bernanke heading the Fed at the time of the global financial crisis, and he did not repeat those mistakes. In fact, he went on to work out the programs that the Fed installed and to supply liquidity. And that's why we came out of the global financial crisis as well as we did, and the States came out quite well and better than any other country, I might add. As you point out, this time, all the things that were worked out over a course of months in the global financial crisis were activated in a matter of weeks in the coronavirus incident. So yes, we went to work much faster. We installed the programs right away. We installed them at a mind-blowing magnitude, and Jay Powell, the head of the Fed, said we are not going to run out of ammunition, and he indicated that his appetite to be activist was limited. Now the question is whether there are any negative ramifications, certainly the Fed has the ability, and the Treasury have the ability, to send every American a check to make up for the lost wages of every worker and the lost revenues of every business. They can do that. Our GDP is 20 plus trillion a year. So all they had to do is write out 5 trillion of checks, and they could simulate the operation of the economy. But is that okay? Number one, we don't actually just need the economic activity. We need the product. We need the things that people make, the services and goods they provide. And just sending checks would not handle that. And number two, is there a downside to the government writing checks to that degree and running deficits and running up debts as a result? In the memo, it's different this time. I talked about modern monetary theory, which is a new theory abroad, which basically says that there's no consequences. You can run up as much deficit and as much debt as you want if you use the money for productive purposes. That's their theory, and we're seeing it in action. Now, we're not seeing it in action because people adopted the theory. We're seeing it in action because the Fed and Treasury and the politicians decided that we needed maximum stimulus. But the result will be the same. Keynes, who's accused of having been very liberal and advocating deficits, that's what we use the word Keynesian when we talk about the voluntary incurring of deficits. Keynes said that in times of weakness, when the economy is not producing enough jobs, we should run deficits to stimulate the economy and put money in circulation. And then when the economy comes back and is in prosperity, we should run surpluses, and we should use the surpluses to pay down the deficits. Well, they forgot the surplus part. Now, no politician stands for surpluses. Everybody wants to just spend money. And as a consequence, in the States, this year, we were heading for $1 trillion deficit in prosperity, which Keynes would fly off the handle at. Well, now with all these programs, the deficit is probably going to be 4 trillion, closer to 4 trillion than 1. And nobody seems to care. Or, well, I shouldn't say that. They care, but everybody views it as necessary. And I think it is. The point is, we'll see later the consequences.